frequency. We got the right connection, not surface level. Seeking a deeper direction. Biblical conversations, yeah, the realest you could find. Unpacking the word, expanding the mind. That spiritual.
Welcome to the We Big Podcast, aka the We Believe in God cast, where wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom. And in all thy getting, get understanding. I'm your host, Brother I, and today we have a unique episode, special episode. It's going to be like the second episode in a series that we're going to call Life Outside of America. And so we have guests, and I have a guest here that's going to talk about life outside of America. And I'm excited about this. We've been planning this and trying to make this happen for quite some time now, and so it's finally here. And so let me introduce you to the famous First Lady. Say what's up to the people.
Hello, salam alaikum.
Yeah.
Habibi, habitis.
All right. Okay. So we talking about life outside of America. Now, me personally, I've lived outside the country for 15 years, right?
Okay.
And I travel back and forth to the States, and so I have my experience that I can talk about. However, I do see your experience a little unique because you have traveled to many different countries. You lived in different countries. You have a lot of experience that I would love for you to share, and I'm sure the audience would to learn to love to learn from your experience and everything. So before we do that, though, real quick, let's just introduce yourself. Tell the people a little bit about yourself. Not too much. We're gonna
Okay.
save some of it for later on into the podcast. But yeah, let's go ahead and tell the people about yourself.
Hello, people. I'm famous First Lady. I'm currently what you call is an artist. I have a background in makeup, beauty. I'm actually a published author. I'm sorry, a published poet. And I love everything creative, and my goal, and it's all about making the world a better place. So everything I do is altruism. It's just giving back. I have a nonprofit. I do a lot in the space of the community, and I'm really just here to lend my voice and my experience, and I want to share our road, our journey, how we got here, because I'm always asked, what was it like? So that's
Yeah.
why I'm here, and that's just a little about me.
Okay, excellent. And I find it interesting that we're sitting here, right? Because I didn't know you prior to you moving to North Africa, right?
Yes.
And we just so happened to meet. And so for anybody who's wondering, there you meet a lot of Americans outside of America. There's a lot of people traveling the world, right? And it just so happens that, you're what do I want to say? I want to say a lifestyle. You're shaking and moving, right? And we kind of found ourselves in the same space, but just how we just ran into each other was completely organic, right? You ran
Yes,
into
it
my
was.
neighbors in the grocery store or something, right? How, you met my neighbors?
Well, I met your neighbors online, because
Okay.
when I came here, unlike living when we lived in Curacao and Colombia, I really did not want to mingle with a lot of foreigners that were
Okay.
living in these countries, because I tried to do that, and it just seems like it wasn't natural. It wasn't a good feeling, so I pushed back from it. But once we moved to Egypt, I was like, okay, for families to make this move, they had to have put some thought into it, and some effort. So I said, okay, well, coming here, I do want to connect, network, and just build, and just hear different stories, and just learn from other Americans that are here, or wherever you're from. I was more open to networking. So I joined a group on Facebook. And I think I was just, introducing myself, saying that I was here, and your neighbors reached out. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. Someone reached out. So we just kind of exchanged numbers in the DMs, and then we just began talking, and over time built a friendship, and we met you all, met some other families that are here, and
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing, But
Okay, okay. Real
yeah.
quick before we continue, I just thought about something. I need you to do this on record for the world to see. Right? When
Okay.
y'all and maybe I'm remembering this wrong, but when we met, did you guys? I barbecued that day. Was I barbecuing when we met?
I believe you were,
Okay, so you gotta
and
tell them, like,
oh,
listen,
oh,
because
okay.
people think I be exaggerating, so you
No,
gotta
no,
let
no,
them know.
no, no,
So
no, no, no.
I ain't saying
No,
nothing.
no,
I'm
no,
just
no,
telling them
no.
your
Okay,
experience.
okay. Listen,
Yeah,
y'all.
yeah, just
Okay,
tell them the experience.
this man to the left of me. Okay, as you can
Talking
hear,
about me right
yeah,
here.
right
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah,
As
yeah.
you
Let
can
them know.
hear, you hear that southern hospitality in his voice, right?
Yeah.
Okay, his cooking skills matches it. Okay, so when we
Yes.
came
Let them
over
know.
to the neighbor's house, we actually met his wife and his children, and they were cooking out. Oh my gosh, y'all. These wings, and we had just started back eating meat. But when I tell y'all, the way he put his foot, his hands, and his soul.
Well, matter of fact, listen.
Yes.
This for my daddy, because he probably ain't gonna watch this, but my uncle gonna watch it.
Okay.
And you tell your brother
Yes.
that you just seen somebody testify now, because
Uh-huh.
my daddy talk about how good his barbecue is, and
Well,
but
did daddy teach you?
no, you
Ah.
know what I'm saying. Now I was born with it. I got it from
Okay.
somewhere.
You got
You know what I'm
you
saying?
got it.
Yeah, but yeah, like so. But I'm just saying though, because this is international. This is
Yes.
worldwide, and I
Yes.
want people to understand. Like,
Look,
listen,
let me
I do
tell
this.
y'all.
I ain't new to this. I'm true to
Not
this.
only can he throw down on the grill with these Texas wings, okay? His
Let them
wife is
know.
a homemaker from scratch. Okay, I wanted to invest in a food business for them 2 years ago when I tasted her cornbread. Okay, that she brought over after I gave birth here. I never had met his wife before at this point, but she was so kind and came and bought us some homemade cornbread, some homemade macaroni and cheese. When I tell y'all, I was like, yes, nostalgia. It brought me right back to America, my grandmother's macaroni and cheese, because I don't eat nobody's macaroni and cheese but
Uh-oh.
Barbara Jean. Okay, and she's no longer here. So it was so kind, it was so dear, and I really appreciate that, Carrie.
Yeah.
It was beautiful, and from that moment, I was like, oh, we family.
Yeah, yeah.
You got you a new sister, okay?
Absolutely, absolutely,
Yes.
man. So,
So
but yeah, just for the record, so I'm just, you know what I'm
yes.
saying? Because some people think I be exaggerating. I'm not, man. I'm telling y'all, I
No
does this. I
exaggeration. No
does this, man. So,
exaggeration.
getting back to the thing, right? So, and you mentioned something that we definitely want to get into about giving birth abroad, because that's something that's
Yes.
another concern. So, let's take it back. Let's take
Okay.
it back. Who were you before you decided to travel and leave the United States? Or like, who were you, and then what led you to even say, you know what, I want to live outside America? And I'm putting kind of shotgun questions here, but I just
No,
kind of want
that's
you
a
to cover this.
great
So,
questions.
but in that, I also want you to explain, like, what, like, when you left, was it a thing where you just would say, I just want to go travel and see, and you just say, you know what, I like living outside of America? Or was it like, I want to leave America and go live outside of America? So, yeah, speak to that, please.
Okay, I think, well, I know my love for seeing the world began at an early age. At 12 years old, my mom put me on a plane by myself to go visit my godmother who lived in Florida. Now, I'm originally from Washington, D.C., born and raised. Of course, we traveled, to Virginia Beach, the ocean cities, but I had never been on a plane. And once I went to Florida, it just opened up a whole nother world. Um, Being from a place where you don't really see palm trees, you don't see blue water, you can actually pick fruit, or we was eating mangoes from the tree. It was an amazing feeling that I had always kept dear to me, and it never really went anywhere, right? So Florida, the weather, it was just something that was just always appealing. So a couple of years passed. Of course, we get older, and I started traveling. I had friends who lived in Georgia, like family. Their family lived in Georgia. So I would travel with them when I was like 14, 15. Went to Georgia, for vacation. And I started really before the 9/11. You could really travel to different countries and you
Yeah.
didn't need a passport. So I went to a lot of countries before I even actually had a passport. Was in Bahamas, Jamaica, just experiencing the world. So shortly after that, I I guess I was about 18 and I had an opportunity to move to Atlanta. So when I moved there, it was a sense of like, okay, this is cool, this is nice. Um, the cost of living was great at the time compared to, Washington, D.C. It was a bit more fast paced, even though it was Southern. It was a bit more, how can I say, Atlanta compared to DC, they were more advanced, like when it came to the music, the nightlife. So it was very appealing to me, right? But the actual lifestyle of Atlanta, Georgia, I really couldn't get with, right? So I moved back to Maryland. But while I was there, I met a lot of people because I'm just like a person that I'm intrigued by different cultures. So I've always had friends that were from different countries all around the world. So I was learning languages like Kiswahili, and I had friends from Somalia. So it's always been appealing to me, the world, seeing the world. So I guess I came back, and shortly after, of course, 9/11 happened. So everything changed about traveling after that. You needed a passport to do certain things, but it was always embedded in me to want to live by the water.
Okay.
The
Okay.
water is a healing space for me, right? So it appealed to me a lot. So I came back. Micah and I had, my husband, we have always talked about just living abroad, but which you'll hear from him, um, certain, the way that laws are set up, the way that the system is orchestrated, is they really don't want us to explore and live great lives. They want to keep us in their shell of what they think we supposed to be doing. The American dream. The American dream was really never my dream. It was always a nightmare to me. From a young age, I'd have believed in higher learning, but just going to college just to fill some time, it was, I always felt like I wanted to do something purposeful. So my idea when I graduated was to go into the military because I was like, okay,
That's the
number
way to
one,
travel.
yeah, I
Yeah.
could travel, you know.
Right. Right.
Um,
That's the
and a
way.
lot of a lot of everything was aligned when you go that way. But God had other plans. I had my daughter, so I didn't go that route. But it was always in me. So as time passed, um, we had started at an early age. We became vegans in like 2007. We were just really looking at uh, exploring different parts of the world. One of the first places was Israel. And this was this is actually 20 years ago.
Wow.
Today, it was 20 years ago when the first country it came up, like, okay, we can go here. But it was a lot going on even in the world at that
Yeah. A lot
time
of red
where,
tape too.
yeah,
Yeah.
Israel wasn't really the best place to go. So as time went on, life went on. I began starting businesses because working for someone just didn't feel right. So the day Obama got elected, I had an amazing job as a counter manager in Lord and Taylor. I quit that job and I started my own beauty business. So that gave me some structure and like, okay, I have to stay, learn the business,
So just I want to ask real quick. The business, this you started this while you were in the States before you traveled?
Yes, I started this in 2010.
Okay.
I
So
started
so
this.
for the sake of the listeners, do you think that it's better or it's pivotal or not pivotal, but it's essential? Do you think it's an essential thing or not that important that you start a business before you leave America, or does it matter?
What I think is we all have gifts and skills. And I believe that because a lot of our energy and our time is taken and stolen from us, you really don't have time to really dig into those gifts, perfect those gifts, and just know what brings you joy and what makes you happy. Sitting behind a desk for 8 hours, getting the bare minimum, it didn't bring me joy or fulfillment. I do believe at this point in life, because that was, you know, almost 20 years ago when I started boutique, well, C Cosmetics. And I just forced myself to learn more about what really drove me to, become independent. And it was a lot of soul searching. But I do believe it's so many different avenues for entrepreneurship that, yeah, it will be great if you can already have a business of some sort lined up before you leave America, because what America is we're consumers, right? We're
Yes.
the biggest consumers in the world, of the world. you know? So to actually have to actually, know what it is that you're good at, or to actually start studying and going down the rabbit hole of different options that you have would be very wise
Yeah.
early on.
Advantageous, absolutely. If you're
Yes.
planning on leaving
If you're planning on leaving, and even if you're not planning on leaving,
it's still
just
good.
to
Yeah.
have, an additional source of income, because it helps greatly. And I think and that's the thing about business. I just want to say this. How you start is not going to be how you finish. I know even with B.i.G,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh yeah.
his first logo was not the logo it is right now. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely
So you
not. Yeah.
evolve,
Right. And I'm
and
still
it's
thinking about change.
okay.
I'm still looking.
Yeah, and
I'm still thinking about like this is cool, but I think I can do something. Because my
absolutely,
skill sets have changed. I've learned different things. So you're 100%.
absolutely.
100%.
And
Yeah.
as you grow and evolve, that's what happens. Your brand grows and evolves, and you rebrand.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just a part of business. And that's a beautiful thing, because as you look back, like I said, boutique, but my first beauty business was C Cosmetics.
Yeah.
And as I look back, I just, know how I've grown so much from then. So I do think it's key and very important just to figure out what you're good at. Figure out what brings you joy. It could be, like I said, with you, Carrie, and cooking, and your wife. If you have listeners that are good at cooking, doing nails, making t-shirts, whatever it is, start really honing in on what it is. Watch it grow, put some actual work in, invest in whatever your business is, and you'll see, with small steps every day, you'll see results eventually. So,
I always like to say, like, small things add up to big things. So,
absolutely.
like you said, just start making moves in the direction. But I want to kind of, I guess, hone in on the question, right? How much of a role do you think is essential? Do you think it's a must that a person have their own business or their own, independent income before they leave the States?
Yes, it's very essential, and it's essential. And if you don't, right, while you have the opportunity now, what I say is save. Don't overspend. Stop frivolous spending
No.
on, I mean, it could be the littlest things. I don't care, whatever your vices are, cut back on them and put that into your exit fund. Because, like, I mean, I've talked to many people. Like, I was just talking to my dad, and he said that he just got an estimate to get his air conditioning unit fixed in his home, and it was 18,000. Like, do you realize with 18,000 US dollars, right? And they're retired. So they're not going to get that 18,000 back. You know, it's coming out of their savings, what they worked all their life to have. So I'm like, okay, what's a better deal, Dad? Like, you tell me the parts. I'm over here in Egypt. I could ship the parts to you. My cousin, he does HVAC. He'll do it. And then guess what? You have a bottom line now. You can travel. You can go invest. You can do more with your money. But it's definitely key to stop overspending, right? Even if you don't have another source of income, even if you have not started a business, save as much as you can, right? Hone in on what you're good at. They have a lot of different remote jobs. It's so many different options um, to being and living abroad as far as earning income. But to just think that, oh, I have $5,000 saved. I'm just gonna go, and because it's cheap to live in this country, and it only costs $3 for this. But if you're doing this every day, all day, and you have no other income coming in, that money will go very quickly.
Hey, and I can attest to that. Like I said, I've been outside the country 15 years. I've seen all different strategies, right? And for sure, I tell people all the time, do not start converting that money in your mind. Don't do that. For me, 20 is 20. If it's
Yes.
$20, it's 20 rubles, it's 20, what I'm saying, shillings. I don't care what it is. 20 is 20, 100 is 100. Like, I don't like spending nothing over 20.
There you go.
Like,
And look,
so
that was one of the first things you said.
I
I
told you that,
remember
right?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, listen,
And
because
it
don't
stuck
start
with me.
converting that money in your mind. You're like, what? That's only $3. Hey,
There you
it's gonna
go.
it go quick. So but what we kind of went past a lot of things, which is good because I think this is insightful for anybody considering traveling. So you kind of already went into it, and I just want to, I guess, put a title on this thing and want you to go more into that, right?
Okay.
This is organic conversation. We get right into it. So what you're speaking to, I think, has a lot to do with the mindset and the mentality of a person. And so when you talk about traveling abroad, living outside the country, right? So I'm trying to get this together. So when you talk about this, the mindset that a person has, because what you're talking, the saving, changing your mindset about spending, and when you talk about, your dad's situation, you're saying, well, I can get you this part from over here for a lot cheaper. We got a cousin, we got a relative that does this and that does that. So that's a mindset that we don't have a lot of times because we grew up in broken homes and we just don't have this mentality of pulling our resources together. So was it a mindset shift for you, or is it a mindset that you always possess? And then for the person who's watching this, what advice do you give them to kind of maybe adopt or adapt their way of thinking? And what kind of, speak to the mindset that you think
Okay.
is good for a person to have, and if they don't have it, how do they kind of get their mind in that role and that line of thinking?
Okay. So I've always been what you call a go-getter. I really never really waited for others to do for me. I would go down a rabbit hole. I research. I go in the field. I figure it out. Of course, I have to use my resources. I'm a very resourceful person, and I think that's key to life. A lot, just growing up, a lot of us, we tend to take on more than we have to, right? Family, that's the first. First, you go in the inside. You start with yourself, right? And then you look at those closest to you and around you because you should be able to benefit off the people that's around you, just like the people around you should be able to benefit off you. We're all a family. We all in this together. We all want to win. So as I spoke on my cousin who's an HVAC, yeah, Dad, instead of going to a stranger giving him money, let's go to family and help them out. And then we all helping each other because you're going to get a way better price. So that's always been my mindset through life is it's just being resourceful, and it's a mindset that I think I've had for a very long time. And just in being resourceful, I spend a lot of my time doing research. So while a lot of people are looking at other things online, I'm watching walking videos of different cities. Hours and hours of walking videos. So when I actually do go to these places, I'm like, oh, I saw you on this video, to the managers of
Yeah.
different hotels, and because you have to, before it could become a reality, it has to be in you, the actuality of it to be a reality.
So let me ask you this: how essential? I don't keep using that word, but how important, how essential is it to this research you're talking about, right? Like, it's one thing to watch some videos online. Do you think it's imperative that a person actually visit the country before they, try to move there? And then, because I want to kind of shift this whole thing into your experiences, right?
Okay,
And so,
absolutely.
uh, like you can go online and watch videos, which I think is good. But then you get there, and some things you're just not gonna get from the videos. But
Yes.
do you think it's, do you think you can get enough from the videos to recommend saying, well, yeah, you can watch enough videos and feel comfortable moving to this country, or do you think, or from your experience, that you got to go there first, go for a couple week visit or something, and really get a full understanding of the situation?
The videos actually are just to help shift your mindset, because we're so flooded with so much other nonsense and just stuff, nothingness, right? So it's to kind of like start just putting you in the mindset of other places, not what you're currently, your current situation, right? So that's what the videos, and just to give you an idea, and you could picture yourself, walking down the beach, or walking into this store in this city. So that's just a part of the mindset shift. The videos. If you're a traveler, it's a difference with me, with people that are travelers, right? And people that are tourists. I'm a traveler. I traveled the world by myself. I went before my husband came to Africa with me. I came to Africa alone. I visited Kenya and Tanzania and Zanzibar. Went to Dubai alone. So, um, the mindset is okay to know, first of all, are these places safe? Are they women friendly? Are they family friendly? What the weather is like. So that's why I watch videos, just to get just a organic take, just as if I put myself as if I'm the person that's on these walking videos. Like, I look at the trash on the ground, just stuff that matters to me, because it matters the how the upkeep of a place is. But I also know that you know sometimes what may appear on one on TV, or on YouTube, is something totally different when you go.
Absolutely.
So what happened with us, we have always for many years said that we wanted to live abroad. We were over America. And my husband, he was going through some legal situation, let's
Right,
say,
right.
right? And we had to wait for some of those things to be over with before we could actually get to the next step, right? But as you know, because it's so much against you in America, and let me just say this sidebar: I love America. I love my Americans. Um, But right now, and then 5 or 6 years ago, it just is not a good time for us in America, right? So when 2019 came, and we were like, okay, we could, kind of make a move now, right? Of course, like right after that, the panty happened. And when that happened, I was like, not knowing what was about to go on, because nobody knew what the world would be. But I'm like, okay, we're here in Maryland, and we don't have any the water isn't closed, so which that means we can't get fish for my son to catch, my husband to clean, and me to cook. That means that it's no fruit growing on the trees. So if anything happens, what are we going to eat? We can't get anything from the land. So the next best option that my husband and I came up with was to go to Florida, close to the ocean. The beaches were still open. It was good. So that's what we did. We kept our place in Maryland. We moved to Florida, right on the Intracoast. We had a beautiful place in Hollywood, Florida, and we stayed there about 6 months. We got a 6-month lease. We stayed there, and I guess about when the lease was about to be up, it shocked the heck out of us that the weather was also changing. It was about January, and the weather at this point had gotten down to like 20 degrees in Florida.
Woo! I didn't know Florida.
Yeah.
I didn't know Florida got that cold.
We didn't know Florida
Because,
got that cold either.
I will say this though. Speaking to Florida, right? My wife has family in Florida, so when we go back to the States for the summer, we go to Florida. I think this past summer or something before, we got a Airbnb there. Go to the beach and everything. But Florida's nice.
Yes,
The
it is.
water's nice. I like it. And me living on the Red Sea I lived on the Red Sea for 2 years, lived there, and then I go back and visit all the time. To me, it was kind of comparable, right? So I definitely understand the lure of Florida, but I never imagine it being 20 degrees.
Let me tell you, Gary, it was very shocking. And not to mention, at that time, I had found out I was expecting.
Uh-oh.
So I was like, okay, after being in Florida 6 months, I didn't want to go back to D.C. Like, how you going to go? And especially during that time. So I was like, right? My husband had went back to our home in Maryland just to take care of some business. But sidebar, I had business partners in Colombia. We had a business with pre-tied head wraps. We call them balakas, right? And the plan right before the panic happened, the plan was for us to, because they had been going back and forth. The plan was for me to go with them, right? And then everything happened in the world. So I never went, but it always stayed in my mind because they would always talk about Cartagena. And all I knew about was Medellin, right?
Okay.
So one day, just in making a decision, because you have greedy people. The landlord in Florida, we had already gave her like $4,200 of a deposit, and then she said to extend our rent, we had to give her another $4,200 deposit. And when I told her that we wasn't idiots, she tried to double back and said, "Oh, no." But at that point, she had already messed up her reputation. I don't want to give you any more of our energy,
Right.
so it's time to go. So I looked on a map, and I saw that Cartagena was only like 3 hours from Florida. So then I looked at the tickets of the flight, and Spirit, shout out to Spirit Airlines.
They closed down.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm
saw
sad
that. That's
to
crazy.
see you go. You saved us. You saved us so many times, Spirit.
Yeah.
So the ticket was $50.
Now Cartagena is where?
Colombia.
Okay.
The
Okay,
ticket
you
was
mentioned Medellin,
$50. Yeah, from Florida, from Hollywood, Florida, Fort Lauderdale to Colombia, 3 hours, $50 one way.
Wow.
Okay, I'm pregnant with my youngest daughter. I have at the time my 2-year-old. She was with me, and the boys were with my husband. Right, my daughter and I, we took that one way on January 21st, 2021.
So you left by just you and your daughter.
Just me and the daughter.
Okay, so in this, because it kind of seems like you're going there already, right? So with just, if you can remember, because I do want to see what your perspective as a woman traveling, right? Because it's different for men and women.
Yes.
And that's something I've learned, that women have a different experience. So, I do want you to kind of speak to what it was like when you were by yourself, you and your daughter, right? So you're traveling as a woman, you're traveling as a mother of a small child, And what was the difference when your husband showed up? Like, just kind of include that in the story,
Okay,
right? Because I
sure.
think that's essential for a lot of women to understand. It's a difference when you're traveling by yourself. It's not the same, and you don't get treated the same because when talking about the mindset, right? The mindset in America, we have certain freedoms. We have law enforcements, right? And when you go to a lot of other countries, the law enforcement is not the same. The treatment is not the same. It's not fair. It's not necessarily just, and or they just do things different. So when she was talking about the research and look into this, these are things you need to look into. The laws, look at how they operate, right? A lot of countries, especially countries that are less developed or that are poor countries, police will take bribes, but women will get treated differently. Okay, and so I would love for you to speak to your experience with women being treated differently when you travel. So I mean,
Okay.
you're telling the story, so keep going, but just
Okay,
I
no
would like
problem.
for you to emphasize that, make sure the sisters that's watching this understand from your perspective and your experience what it's like being a woman without a man with you, and then when your husband showed up.
So the key is always when you're traveling to research the tourist areas of these destinations. Don't try to go to the off beaten places. you know, First stay in the tourist area where that it's lit up, that it's other tourists around, the police are visible and present. That's number one. Like I said, in 2019, I traveled to Dubai, and Africa alone. And it was one of the most um, amazing experiences I ever had. Sometimes you have to isolate yourself, right? To get the full understanding of what your purpose is or what you're supposed to be doing at the moment. And at that time, I was in aesthetic school. I'm a master esthetician, so I was almost finished school, and like I said, my husband was going through some legal stuff, and it was just a lot going on. And I had did a Reiki session, and my healer told me to go to the water, just go right, and I had already felt that inside of me. So it's me and traveling. First of all, mind your business.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
this was actually my first time ever staying in a hostel is when I went to Dubai.
okay, yeah,
And Dubai is Dubai, right? So I'm like, okay. I stayed in a hostel because I didn't know which area or which city or part
right.
of Dubai or the UAE I wanted to be in.
Okay, so let's real quick. When you went to Dubai, you had your daughter with you. It was just you and
No,
your
I
daughter.
was solo.
You by yourself.
Yes.
Okay, so
At
but
that
this
point,
this is your first time traveling, or this is after you've been to Colombia?
this was in 2019, right before Colombia.
Okay, so your
2019.
first
Yeah,
time
this
you
is the
went by
first
yourself,
solo.
right?
Yes.
Now, for anybody who don't know what a hostel is, a hostel is kind of like the closest thing to an Airbnb before they had Airbnb, right? And there's like, because my first introduction, I had never heard of a hostel until I saw the movie. And the
Oh, it's a
movie was
movie.
like, there's a movie called Hostel, and they was in this foreign country, and people got to start getting, they
Okay,
start
I
unaliving
gotta
people
see
and all
that
that
movie.
stuff. It made hostels very terrifying, right?
Ah, okay.
So that's my first association with it. However, when my wife traveled to Europe, she stayed in a bunch of hostels, right? So it's just
Yes.
basically like
It's like a rooming
yeah,
place,
yeah, but it's like a motel,
Yeah.
but like a college dorm
Kind of feel you
for
may have a
strangers.
shared
Yeah,
bathroom, but all hostels not created equal,
right.
right? So, like I said, I'm in one in Dubai. So, at the time, people ain't just going to Dubai. So, anybody that's coming to Dubai, they on some business.
Right.
They got something
This
going
before
on
the hot
about
girl
their stuff.
summers.
This is 2019. So yeah, this is before the hot girl summer. This is when the world was still what it was
Yeah.
before the panty. So
Okay.
everybody was still trapped in whatever they were doing. So I mean, I met some amazing individuals in that hostel. I met a girl, I mean, she just looked like a regular girl, and this girl traveled the world sourcing car parts, was making millions of dollars just traveling the world for car parts, and it brought her to Dubai. I mean, it was so many different people. that you meet. I met another young lady, and we're still friends to this day. She's from India, and she actually, when I needed to get some fabrics in India, she helped me. So I've always been someone that was curious just about people from other places and other walks of life. So when the hostel thing came along, it wasn't, because of the money. It was just because of the safety. I wanted to be somewhere central that I know other tourists were around me. So that's like, keep that in mind if you're solo traveling. Look into hostels, okay?
Okay, but
And
I want to ask you though, because you said mind your business. So
mm-hmm.
something happened to make you say, "Hey, learn how to mind your business." So I want to hear about that. I don't know. I want to hear about this mind your
Yeah.
business.
Well,
Mind your business.
yeah, that's the key
What,
in life. Mind your business. That will save you from a lot of things. If
but
it
it's
does
important
not
when you're traveling.
concern you.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, don't go down the unbeaten paths. Um
So the mind your business thing, that was just a general statement.
the
It wasn't based on a
it's
particular
overall
experience you
in
had.
all of my travels.
Yeah, but I'm
It's
saying, but
it's
it
even
wasn't based
living.
on a specific experience that you had. You just saying in general, mind your business, and when you're traveling, keep that mindset. Mind your business. Don't go explore unknown things. Don't go to unknown areas, especially as a single woman, right?
Especially, you have to always keep that in mind. And you're a visitor in these places. And most people who go visit other countries, they really don't research the laws and
Yeah.
just the way of life there, right? So for me, I just needed a break in action. So it was a vacation for me.
Okay.
I wasn't going looking for anything really in Dubai but gold,
Yeah.
at that time. But
So what was it like? Do you feel like you got treated differently as a woman, or did you notice anything? Did
I,
you
f-
go
I
like
feel
did you
like
go
it's
back
this.
with your husband
No,
before?
he's not. Like,
Okay,
we're
so
planning to go to Dubai, but Dubai was never an interest to him
yeah,
because
yeah.
he knows the history of Dubai, right?
Okay.
So with me, it just so happened, and it just so happened with me, right? I have friends in the travel world, so they knew that I was looking just for a vacation, and I wanted to come to Africa. I have a friend who called me and said, "Look, it's a deal of a flight. It goes to Dubai, but it stops in Kenya." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool. I mean, I get to explore Nairobi.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nairobi. Beautiful women, beautiful, 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 beautiful country. I love it there." And then you go to Dubai and then you come back. I'm like, "Oh, I believe layovers are bae. Like, any trip that I could get a
A
layover for
long one
free,
too.
you know
Yeah.
what I'm
You
saying?"
get to
I'm
go.
like, "Sign me up." And at that time, that flight was only, that round trip for like 15 days was only like $430. And I
Ooh,
was like,
that's a different time.
sign me up. Okay. So while I was there, for me networking, my associate that I said I was doing business with in Colombia, she was currently in Tanzania. So I called her when I got over on this side of the world, and I'm like, "Look, I'm in Africa." She like, "Come on to Tanzania."
Yeah.
So I looked online, got me a round trip to Tanzania, and then we went to Zanzibar from there. Spent about 5 or 6 days down there. So I was just moving around,
Yeah.
but I moved safely. I
That's
stayed
important.
like
Yeah.
with the people that were in the hostel. We kind of went out together for dinner. We went to the desert together. I wasn't just like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the souk on the other side of town by myself."
Right.
I had drivers. You have to think smart. Even though Dubai is a very safe country, you still have to think smart because it's bad people everywhere in the world, right? So fast forward to when we moved to Colombia and I was just going with my baby. Of course, Colombia has this stigma about it, right? Just like a lot of places in the world. But I'm going to tell you this.
Bold face and don't put your headphones on. We be